Hey guys, it's Michael here from GRNDX Agency. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you should be using the Audience Insights tool on Facebook's platform to ensure that you no longer face the problem of doing poor research, which is stopping you from getting your music in front of the right sort of audiences and improving the successfulness of your ad campaigns. So I'm going to be giving you an in-depth overview of how you should be doing the correct research to make sure that you're finding the right type of audience that aligns with your music and your brand to ensure that your campaigns are successful. Before we get into this video, if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you do that, like this video, and also make sure you turn on the notification bells, which is going to help you get kept up to date every time we drop our new videos on our YouTube channel. So let's dive into my computer. First thing you want to do is make sure you're in the Audience Insights tool. You can find that by typing that into Google, type in Facebook Audience Insights tool, and it will bring you to this page over here. Your account, make sure you're on the right account if you already created multiple ad manager accounts. And what you would want to start off by doing is making sure you're typing in the right location based on where you are, or based on the specific sort of artist or company that you want to target, to make sure you're searching for the right database in the right location. So we're going to type the United Kingdom. It pops up here. As you can see the data has changed because it originally was in the US. And the next section you want to focus on is the interest section. This is where you're going to be typing in key words and interests that you want to use as your starting base to do the research of the audience you want to be targeting. So the first thing you want to do is have a list in mind of the type of artist that you sound like, or the type of music entertainment platforms that you feel you want to target. And the best way to do this is by having a system. We have something called our Find My Sound Guide that allows you to go through the proper way of doing the research by typing in the interests and finding out who you sound like based on not only asking yourself, asking people around you, and putting it in a structured format along with using the Audience Insights tool so that you can, do in-detail research to make sure that you're aligning your music with the right audience when you're investing in paid ads, because there's nothing worse than advertising your music and it's just getting poor results. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced that. So what I'm going to be doing right now is just picking random artists from the UK and just seeing the process that you need to go through in order to make sure that you find the right audience that is similar. So what we want to start off with is gigs. Type in gigs here, click it. Shows us the demographics of people in that Facebook group. How many percentage of them are men? 81% compared to 90% of women. It tells us that the strongest age range is between 25 to 34. After that is 18 to 24, with 44% of people in that fan base being part of that age group. Then the next button that you want to click is page likes. So this is the section that tells you all the top categories that are highly related to the keyword gigs. So it's saying when we typed in gigs, the other pages that we could find that these people are also liking as well is performing arts, DJs, artists, musicians. Since we typed in a musician, we're going to be looking for other musicians to type in as well and see whether we can find them inside Facebook's database to target them. So what you want to do here is you want to look at musicians: AJ Tracy, J Mead, Dizzy Rascal, Krypton Conan, Gets, K Cole, J Haas, P Money. But what you want to do with this information is you want to scroll down here, and this is where it shows you the closest pages are related to Gigs the rapper. So you can see here, second that is closely related is Mist, and it tells you that by the affinity. Affinity is basically how likely your audience is to like a given page compared to everyone on Facebook. So it's saying the people that like Gigs' page are highly likely, second relevance wise, to like Mist's page as well. So what that's basically saying in basic terms is that they share similar audiences. After Mist, we then got Krypton Conan, and then we got Gets after that. So the process you would be going through here is pretty much you would jot down Gigs as your first target, and then you would jot down the top 5 other interests that pop up here. So you would have Mist, Krypton Conan, Gets, and K Coke. And what you would do is one by one, you would type them into here. So we want to type in Krypton Conan. Okay, they pop up. You can see Krypton Conan. We go over here. Gigs appears over here, so we know that they are closely related and it wasn't just a blip. But you can see more artists that pop up here as well, such as Sneakbo, Youngin, J Hus pops up again, AJ Tracy, JME, Dizzy Rascal, and Charlie Sloth popped up. So what you would do over here is you found other names. So we're saying people that are related to Krypton Conan, also like Sneakbo, Youngin, Mist has popped up again. And if you noticed, Mist popped up in the gigs audience as well. So it's basically saying whether you target Mist, Skepta, it's basically saying whether you target Krypton Conan or whether you target Skepta, you're likely to have Mist's audience that is cross-related. So you might as well group gigs and Mist together. K Coke has popped up again, J Hus has popped up again, and we've got Gets again. So the next one we would type in here is, you can see Sneakbo's here again. So you would probably create a second list and you'll put Sneakbo in there, because the same people that listen to Krypton Conan are likely to listen to Sneakbo as well. But our main focus is gigs. And what you're trying to do here is build a list of artists that you know are quite similar. And one thing I want to mention here is that you don't have to just stick to musicians. What you can do also as well is branch into other stuff such as entertainment platforms. So music platform SBTV is there. Then we go to media/news companies. We've got P110, Grime Daily, BBC One Extra. You can see that's popped up as the categories that are also related to Krypton Conan. So what we're going to type in here is we'll type in Gets because he popped up. Gets pops up. Let's see if we get any gigs. Gigs is here again. Kano's here. Krypton Conan's here. K Coke's here again. Charlie Sloth pops up again. Big Nasty, if you saw that at the top. And it's saying in close, in the case of similarity, affinity wise, P Money is third. Mist pops up again. Charlie Sloth is here again. Krypton Conan is here again. So this is just how you start doing your research and really, checking and seeing if you can find similar artists. We type Kano here because he popped up. Can't find nothing here. And K Coke has popped up a few times. Let's see if we can find him. Type in K Coke. You can't find his name. So what do you do when you can't find the artist? Let me show you. So previously, we couldn't find much data on Kano, and we typed in K Coke and he didn't appear. So what you would then want to do is go into Google and type artists similar to gigs, because that's our main focus here. And it's giving us a list. And you can see it's giving us some sites. The sites that I like really using is Last FM. If we tap over there, you can see it's giving us all these similar artists that we can look at. So Krypton Conan, you can see, is popped up. And when we look at Facebook and we remember, we can see Krypton Conan appeared there. Kano appeared. It's got Chip, it's got Rich32, JME, Dave, J Hus, he popped up, Gets popped up, Bugs and Malone pops up. So this is where you start building a strong, database of the type of artists that really have a lot of similarities in terms of their audiences. And you research to see, if you're finding artists that are really similar to each other, so you don't end up wasting money targeting the same audiences and putting money to target two audiences that, they share the same fan base. So you're basically spending money to target an audience that you don't need to. So what you want to do from this is find a new name. So Chip has popped up. If we type in Chip here, Chip Rapper, you can see, because sometimes it could be something else. If you type that in, we've got Chip. Doesn't have too much date on him for some reason, but we'll look for music and brands. Okay, so it's got Chip, it's got Tinchy Strider, Stormzy, Professor Green. See if there's any other artist stuff that pop up. The Chip tagged in by himself, yep. It's UK. Audience size 2 to 2.5 million people that it's looking through. So what you would do here is go to the bottom here, see if anything is relatable. So in that case, what would happen is maybe Chipmunk is going to be in a separate category because nothing popped up. that is closely related, such as Gigs, Krypton Conan, J Hus, Gets. We didn't see none of that. So we would go back here and we would have Chip as now a separate audience that we could potentially target to see. Because let's say, for instance, we're a UK musician, a rapper, hip hop, you know, you want to be targeting as much UK artists as possible that your music is similar to in some regards. Because you may notice that people that listen to Gigs may not perform as well, and Chip's audience may be the one that gives you the lowest cost per view, cost per click, and gets you the most buzz. Bugsy Malone's popped up, AJ Tracy's popped up, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna type in Bugsy, and he's popped up. And this is more like it. As you can see here, Gigs pops up as well. So if we scroll to the bottom, okay, people that listen to Bugsy Malone are closely related to Mist. The music entertainment platform, P110, Youngin, Charlie Sloth. So Youngin is 4th, so he's closely related to Bugsy Malone. Is Gigs on that list? Let's check. Gigs is 12th. So there's some relatability in terms of audiences, but it's not strong. So you know that if you were to put Bugsy Malone in a separate audience, a small percentage of people that listen to Gigs would also listen to Bugsy Malone. So you can, do a test on these audiences without feeling like you're wasting money. So that's the way you can clearly define what audiences you should be targeting and putting in the same group and what audiences you shouldn't. So as you saw, Youngin, his name kept on popping up. So typed it in. Spelled it wrong last time, it didn't come up. Give me another artist name, Rech32. Let's see if he pops up. Yep, he does pop up. Let's see if Gigs is in this list. Big Nasty. Yep, Gigs pops up in terms of the top categories. Affinity wise, Gigs is 6th. So that's also another indicator here. So it's basically telling you people that are interested in Gigs also are interested in Rech32 because he pops up, 6th in the list. So that's another example that you would want to put there. So you want to be pretty much creating like a checklist of all the names that keep on popping up, because it's giving you an example of the artists that are similar in terms of Facebook's database. And you can't make assumptions. You have to listen to what the data is telling you, and then you want to actually invest and run tests to find out what the data is really telling you by results. This is pretty much how you go through your research phase, your elimination, should I say, in terms of the artists that are similar and the artists that are not similar. As you can see, Chip was totally, separate when it comes to the data that they had on Chip wasn't enough. So you would want to put Chip in a separate audience and see what pops up in terms of testing. So I'll definitely create another ad set for Chip and put him in there and test it against the Gigs audience. So this is the way you do your research. Charlie Sloth keeps on popping up as well. So here's another audience, and he's a DJ, not a musician per se. So let's put Charlie Sloth. He pops up. Let's see if Gigs or Rech32 pops up. Gets pops up. Bugsy Malone pops up. Youngin pops up. Okay, Youngin, Krypton Conan's popped up there. So Charlie Sloth may be another angle that you want to approach. And one of the things I want you to know is that you don't have to only go for artists. You could go for platforms. So you can see Grime Dailies here. If we were to type Grime Daily, do they pop up? I'm sure they do. So you know that people that listen to Charlie Sloth also watch Grime Daily. You can see SBTV's popped up here. And it's also shown Gigs as well that's popped up. If we scroll down to closely affiliated, Charlie Sloth is there, so that the data is accurate. AJ Tracy keeps on popping up. Krypton Conan's popped up. Gigs is also popped up. This is basically building a database for you to understand the type of targeting that you should be doing. So what this is saying is basically anyone that listens to Gigs, listens to, Krypton Conan, you really want to be including the Grime Daily. So maybe we have a specific ad that says people that listen to Gigs and listen to Krypton Conan and listen to Grime Daily, this is who we want to target. So we know that we're really getting people that are, they're in love with UK music, rap especially. Let's type in SBTV since I mentioned that as well. So we go, pops up. You can see here, SBTV's there, Charlie Sloth, Big Nasty, JME, Dizzy Rascal, Krypton Conan pops up. Gigs is not, oh, Gigs is in this list, as you can see, he comes up third here. And we go to the affinity in terms of page likes. So we're saying again, the people that watch SBTV, Graham Daly is also there as expected. And you've got Gigs, he's sixth. So that's basically proving the point that I'm making. People that listen to Gigs also listen to Krypton Conan, and they also listen to Graham Daly and SBTV, so you would want to have that. And for instance, where we couldn't find Young'un, what you would want to do is go over to Spotify's platform and use them as a database. Let me show you that quickly. What we want to do is go over to Spotify, then we're going to type in Gigs. Pops up over here, and it says featuring fans also like. You can see Gets pops up, Retro2, JME, Lethal Bizzle, click see all, and this is giving you a database of other artists, and you can cross-check that against the data that you found in Audience Insights to build up your list. And the aim here is to literally have, you know, different batches of categories of artists and interests that you can target, that you know for sure are either grouped together because they're similar, or they're grouped separately because they're not related at all, so that you have a wide range of groups that you're targeting that are similar and some that are not similar, but they're all within the spectrum of UK rap and hip hop music. And you know that you're targeting audiences that are more likely to resonate with your music because you've done your research. So without the Audience Insights tool, you're pretty much just hoping and guessing and making assumptions. You haven't done the proper due diligence by researching to see what is similar, what is not, what do people like, what do people not like, you know, and you haven't been cross-checking enough. So that's just an example of another way you can find artists on Facebook in order to see whether they match or not. So we're using this as a database right now. Wiley pops up as the artist. Let's see if he pops up over here. So I'm going to type in Wiley, see, because we couldn't find Young'un before. Yep, Wiley pops up. So that's it here. You can see with Wiley, you got Gets, you got P Money, JME, AJ Tracy, Dave, Gigs pops up. Let's see in terms of affinity, Krypton Conan again. So that's another example. Charlie Sloth pops up again. Gigs is 7th. So we're saying people that listen to Wiley are also closely related to Gigs and also closely related to Krypton Conan. So we're saying that these audiences are really similar. So you can group them all in one group, for example. So you can have Gigs, you can have Krypton Conan in one group, because you know that their audiences are quite similar, and targeting them all separately to some degree would be you spending your money targeting all the same people. You know, unless you've got a large budget, then you can afford to do that just to see and prove your point based on, you know, the closely related groups. But that's pretty much how you do your research. Type in your key interests, you look at the names that pop up, and if they keep on popping up, you write a list, and you know, you check their affinity scores to see the ones that are closely related and the ones that are not closely related. And you start building out your ad sets. The last thing I'm going to do is give you just a quick example of just popping that stuff into the ad manager. And that's just like, you know, in-depth kind of overview of how you do your research, how you find names that are not appearing by going to Google and Spotify, and giving you the foundations that you need to do your own research and start understanding how to find your audience using Facebook's platform. If you need help with this, we also do have something called our starter pack, which is in the description, that runs through everything that you need to get started when you're advertising in terms of doing your research and all of the different, you know, aspects that you need to consider to have successful ad campaigns on Facebook and Instagram. So do check that out. And let me just jump into the ad manager quickly. Ad manager, you want to scroll down till you get to detailed targeting. So over here, and then what you want to start doing is typing in the names that you said. So you said Gigs. Type in again. Take some time to pop up. Gigs rapper, boom, pops up here. We saw Krypton Conan pop up based on the research that we did. And then what I was saying before is we noticed that people that listen to gigs also listen to Krypton Conan. Gets came up as well. So we can have that in an audience. See there's 620,000 people in that audience. And then what you can do now is you can narrow this audience down. So what this is saying is basically people that exist in Gets, Gigs, and Krypton Conan's audience, find me these people and show my ad to these people. But now we're saying if they meet this condition, also meet this condition as well. We would want them to be watching SBTV, like we said, since it popped up. And we said Rhyme Daily. There's so now we just added the narrowed down audience with an and statement. So it's saying that people that listen to Gets also must watch either Grime Daily or SBTV based on the research that we did. And this is one of the audiences that we'll save. As you can see, we'll save this audience and we'll have it as one audience. And then the next option we may have is when we typed in Chip before when we were doing the research. He didn't really have a lot of similarities, so we can type in Chip here, rapper. See, his audience is 270,000 people, and we can have that as a separate audience. And then AJ Tracy popped up quite a lot, so we can type in AJ Tracy. We can have him as another audience. So now we've got 3 audiences, one with Gigs mixed with Krypton Conan, then we've got another with Chip, and we've got another with AJ Tracy. So there's 3 different audiences, and based on the research that we've done, we will know that one audience has a lot of artists such as Krypton Conan, Gigs, etc. that are quite similar. We have Chip that is not really similar to the rest of them in terms of the music that he makes and the data that could be found on Facebook's platform. So this is a quick way for you to kind of create your ad sets and test against each ad set and do the proper research that you need to do to ensure that your music is definitely going in front of the right sort of audiences. So hopefully that's been able to give you a proper understanding of what you should be doing when it comes to doing your audience target research using the Facebook Audience Insights tool in 2021.